My name is Karsten Cash, and I am the middle school coordinator here at Young Achievers K-8 Pilot School. And the other important thing to know is that Young Achievers is a BTR host school. I'm a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and our fraternity is dedicated to manly deeds, scholarship, and the love for all mankind. And Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is the first historically black Greek letter organization that was founded for college level black men. The idea was to provide a network of men who were in similar situations and experiences to create academic success. And so the fraternity was founded with the idea of not only would these men have a support group and network on the college campus of Cornell University, but that we would spread out and create vast numbers of networks and groups of men to not only become academically successful, but to give back into the communities worldwide. And the way that I am able to do my part as a representative of the fraternity is through education, and to continue to hopefully inspire the next generation of leaders in which we can come together as men and bond in a fraternal way, but it's through service that our relationships grow and our bonds continue throughout life. So my initiation into my fraternity was not about something that I did while at college, but it's a lifelong commitment that continues to build me holistically. But my membership has changed my lens in that it is clear to me that there is not just a lot of work to be done, but there's a lot of power within the black community that can be harnessed and continue to uplift those of us who are less fortunate. I grew up in the Roxbury neighborhood of Boston, and I was in the Boston public school system through the 8th grade, and ultimately had the opportunity to live on a college campus and go to Wellesley High School, which is where I graduated and went on to college. I went to college at Wesleyan University undergrad, and ultimately I was initiated into my fraternity in Missouri. I moved out there for a position where I was director of the Black Culture Center at the University of Missouri, and so I was initiated into the alumni chapter there in Columbia, Missouri. Going back to where I grew up, the only thing that really separated me from the other young brothers in the neighborhood who didn't have the success that I've had was because I had access to resources and took advantage of resources that they didn't necessarily. It wasn't that I was any brighter or smarter than anybody else, but I had role models in my life, older brothers and sisters, as well as members of the community who kept me on the straight and narrow, who were very direct with me. I had, throughout my entire Boston Public School career, I had 2 black teachers between 1st and 8th grade, and actually in high school I had no black teachers. So my entire primary, secondary school education, I had 2 black teachers, and lessons that I learned from them still last with me today in regards to, you know, you can be whatever you want to be, you can laugh and joke with your friends, but in a place of business, that's what you're about. You come here, you learn, and you can do anything you want to do because your education is something that no one can ever take away from you. First time, I believe that was 6th grade, and it was Miss Long, history teacher, and then I had Mr. Dancy, I believe it was 7th grade, was my English teacher. When you're in Miss Long's class or Mr. Dancy's class, they spoke to you like a relative, you know, an aunt or an uncle that you respected. You know, you wouldn't dare disrespect a parent, and so you're not going to do that to Miss Long or Mr. Dancy, because I know that should they speak to my family at home, they're not going to want to hear what I have to say, because their word is law. And so it felt more familial, and it truly felt like they understood my experience. They understood my neighborhood. They understood the language that I spoke when I wasn't in the class, but also taught me how to code switch and when was the appropriate time and place to do it. So I needed to learn how to use an academic language when in a professional environment, but then there was appropriate time and place for me to speak in the way that I wanted to. So it was important that I came in and sat down in class, got to work, did the things that I needed to do, but also, they were very loving, very caring, and understood once again the cultural nuances that came with, being an inner city youth who, just between home and school had to overcome various obstacles, whether it be, drug addicts or different forms of violence on the way to and from school. And, it was just really sad, all the things that I witnessed, or heard about or was privy to just by the virtue of where I lived. But aside from all of that, nice to know that they understood that. They were like, that's really awful, but in this classroom, you need to put all that aside and sit down and do what you need to do, so that experience that you're living right now is not going to be what determines the rest of your life. And so they were very serious about that, and they didn't mind telling you over. The students must be competitive in order to get a job or career where they can earn a livable wage. So the education that I look to provide my students is one that will give them the options to do whatever it is that they want to do, right? And that's what was provided to me. And no one said you have to be this, you have to be that, but they did tell me you have to get a college degree in the world. So I feel like working in education is, there is no more noble job that a person can do than teach. Quite honestly, throughout my academic career, no one asked me or approached me and said, hey, why don't you consider becoming a school teacher? Unfortunately, teaching doesn't have the rank of importance in any community that it used to have. And once again, going back to what I was saying about there being no more nobler of an occupation than teaching, I think we really need to start doing a better job of educating our communities to meet the needs of the community. Having staff people in the school building, teachers in the school building, in the classrooms, in leadership position, who understand the history and the value of having people from the neighborhood who can serve as role models and kind of surrogate parents, if you will, to students in the school is so valuable.